Hey folks, this is Jack McNiel with the Kempner Church of Christ, and we're here today to share a little nugget of wisdom from the book of Proverbs. Today we're going to be looking at Proverbs chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. And there Solomon writes, "My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge." Here Solomon is writing to his son Rehoboam, who will become king after him. And he's saying, pay attention to my words, that thy lips may keep knowledge. We need to ask ourselves, are we paying attention to the wisdom of our elders? Our parents, our grandparents, and older people in general have more life experiences than we do, at least in many ways. While age and experience by themselves do not impart wisdom to the spiritually ignorant, they are crucial to the growth of wisdom in the one who is a student of God's Word. Those who have been faithful, growing Christians for many years, they have developed a great understanding of God and His will by simply because they have been living it. And so we need to pay attention to their wisdom. Well, maybe we should seek their advice and at least listen to it, give it a good, consideration. Solomon's son, Rehoboam, he failed to do this when he became king. Let's look over in 1 Kings chapter 12. There, the first 15 verses, notice what it says here. And Rehoboam, this is after, of course, Solomon has passed. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt. Remember, because of Solomon's unfaithfulness, God had split the kingdom, and he was going to allow Rehoboam to reign over the northern kingdoms and northern tribes. And so apparently Solomon chased him away into the wilderness. And so it says there in verse 3 that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Depart ye for 3 days, and then come again to me. And the people departed. And says there in verse 6, And Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do you advise that I may answer the people? And so he does the right thing. He goes to the older advisors, the one that advised his own father. And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. And so they tell him, just do as they ask, lighten the burden, and they will serve you forever as a servant. But he forsook the counsel of the old men when they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke upon thy father. Thy father did put upon us lighter. And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto them. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did lade you with a heavy stroke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam that third day, and as the king appointed, Come to me again the third day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him. And he spake to them after this counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which he spoke which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. And so here he's given great advice by these older, more trusted counselors of his father, but he doesn't listen to them. The young men, they say, oh, you got to be hardcore. You think that your father was hard on them, you need to be harder. That's the only way they'll respect you, or something along that line was their advice. He should have listened to the older, wiser men instead of listening to those young whippersnappers, as you might call them. Notice also what Paul says to young Timothy in verses 1 and 2 of 1 Timothy chapter 5. He says, rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren, the older women as mothers, the younger as sisters with all purity. He says, entreat the older men, the older people as a father or as a mother. Treat them with respect. Listen to their advice. In Philippians chapter 3 and verse 17, he says, brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk as ye have us for an example. And so when you see an older member of the church, an older Christian who has been faithful for many years, follow their faith, ask their advice, seek their counsel. That's the only way, that is a way to become wise, is to keep the commandments of your parents, of your older people. Listen to what they say and take their advice. Certainly, as long as that advice goes along with what God's Word says, certainly. And so, hey, I hope this nugget of wisdom will help you. Go and find that older person that is full of great wisdom and pick their brain. Ask them, how to be a faithful Christian, what they've done to remain faithful for the time that they have been. Hey, you have a great day, and may you seek wisdom always. God bless.